Well, things got a bit tipsy for some clones in the latest episode of The Bad Batch titled Tipping Point, so let's take the next few minutes to break down this rather interesting episode from top to bottom. Spoilers, BTW. Let's start with this episode's eggs and references, beginning with the reintroduction of a Season 1 fan favorite new clone in Captain Hauser. Our dude lives and is still whipping his killer haircut. You may have noticed that he was being transported on a Gozanti-class cruiser, which was first featured in the prequels, but then appeared in the Clone Wars, Rebels, and The Mandalorian. They're taking off from Balmorra, which is a planet first featured in a Clone Wars arc featuring General Grievous. During Hauser's rescue, we see the return of Gregor from his Season 1 rescue, and while he's a new named clone, I don't think it's a coincidence that his name is Nemik, like our boy from Andor who managed to motivate Cassian through his manifesto. Hey, a torturing and interrogation droid. Oh, a mouse droid too. And finally, another S1 character and soon to be Vader's leash, Tarkin, stopped by to remind us of how awful he is. Alright, so that's out of the way, now it's time for some thoughts. After last week's rather boring and uneventful episode on Pabu, Tipping Point was a breath of fresh Star Wars air. Episodes like this are why this series is so great at times, and probably why we all get a bit impatient when it changes things up like it did in Pabu, or the mining arc from a few weeks back. Tipping Point featured the perfect back and forth between the Empire and our heroes, which is a first for this season, but it really helped to cement this episode as Bad Batch correct. As usual, the Imperial side of the narrative stole the show with Hemlock and Crosshair being standouts. Hemlock is about as good as it gets when it comes to an evil scientist. He's creepy enough to possibly even skeeve out Sheev. He just seems evil to the bone and is reminiscent of Hitler's Dr. Mengele. It's pretty clear now, too, that he's experimenting on clones at Tantus, which could be the beginnings of the Dark Trooper program if you're down with Legends content. Crosshair, on the other hand, has had loads of growth, albeit very slowly paced this season, and this episode pushed him even closer towards redemption. It's clear that he truly is worried about his former squad, which makes Hunter's distrust even more exciting, because it will surely lead to plans being foiled or good guys suffering needlessly. But in the end, Crosshair made his bed and now he's laying in it. But the dude is taking it like a champ and has come nearly full circle since the end of Season 1. This episode also shined thanks to it featuring a full-on clandestine clone rescue campaign that Rex and Echo organized and have been doing for some time. It once again helped to show how much more skilled clones are compared to TKs, but it also revealed more insights into what the clones were up to after being decommissioned by the Empire. Rex has a full-on underground railroad movement going on, which is rad, and counters the notion that the clones are banding together for some big battle down the road. They're truly just trying to survive and live out whatever life they have left. How about some top moments? Naturally, we're leading with the clone rescue to kick this list off. It featured a small number of clones kicking ass and taking names against a larger Imperial force. It showed how well organized the clones are and how efficient they still work as a unit. And it was just a fun sequence to watch play out from start to finish. It really makes you wonder why the Empire wanted to save money on its army in the first place, because with clones on their side, the rebellion would have had no chance. Up next is Crosshair's Plan 88 warning. I feel for this dude even though he's brought all of this on himself because of his good soldiers BS, but it's still sad to see how he's paying for his bad choices. He's definitely come around to the Empire sucking, but he sadly has no real options to do anything about his current situation. While he hasn't been used much this season, his arc is shaping up nicely for the tragic hero archetype. Oh, I also think there's something up with Emiri, Hemlock's assistant, that seems to be almost having a soft spot for Crosshair. She may be up to something and favor clones, because if you listen to her and look at her features, there's a small chance that she could be a clone herself. If anything, it feels like she has something up her sleeve that will help the batch in the end versus causing more harm. Finally, a scene from this episode's lighter side stood out, and that was Omega's driving lesson. As a girl dad myself, It's hard for me to not get mushy with these types of Omega moments. But feelings aside, it was just a fun scene between her and Tech, who has really stepped up in Echo's absence in terms of caring for and teaching Omega new skills. As an added bonus, Echo arrives during this scene, and Omega's glee over his return gave me a smile. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please consider liking it and subbing to our YouTube channel. We'd also love for you to join in with our weekly Star Wars podcast. So use the links in this video's description or head to StarWarsTime.net to subscribe to the platform of your choice. There's always time for Star Wars time, and remember, if you listen to the Star Wars Time show, the Force will be with you, always.